yards per game, touchdowns, and he has 21 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. It's unbelievable.
MVP. What year was that you said he should retire? Because I don't.
Okay,
remember.
what I said was in 2016, I gave him 18 months before he fell off the cliff, so 2 more seasons. In 16, since I made that prediction,
he's had a Hall of Fame career,
a full Hall of Fame career. And what boggles my mind is this is the first 17-game season, and he won the Super Bowl last year, which means he played more football than others. And he's leading the league in attempts.
Can I ask you,
it's unbelievable.
That day, what made you take that?
No,
hedge?
Not that day. I said the same thing about Peyton. I said the same thing about Favre at the time. What I'd noticed for a while now is
So you was
41.
wrong about all them.
No, I was right about them.
How?
Because when quarterbacks hit that age 41 season, they all fall off. All of them fall off.
One dude went to 2 Super Bowls and won one. Another dude took his
No,
team
but not after
NFC
age 40.
championship.
After age 41, they weren't good anymore. The best old quarterback who was like still Pro Bowl-ish was Warren Moon. He was like 39, 40.
Favre took Minnesota to NFC championship.
Right. They fly very high, and then they turn 41. They have that age 41 season, and they fall off.
But how old
until
was
Brady.
Favre? How old
he
was
not
Favre?
41.
Oh, so he wasn't 41.
No. That's why I based that on the model that all these quarterbacks. Remember when Peyton came back off the neck and he winds up in Brown? Everyone's like, he could do this till he's 50, and he's leading the league in touchdowns. And all of a sudden, right off the cliff.
Yeah, but I thought Favre was at least 40.
He may have been 40.
Yeah.
And that's the last little gasp. But let me tell you,
that was his last. That was it.
Your guy was actually the best, one of the better old quarterbacks, but I never considered him a great quarterback. Vinny Testaverde was really good.
He came off the couch at 60.
Yeah, it's unreal. But Brady is doing stuff now.
Vinny was like 60 years old. I'm like, Vin, come on, man.
Paychecks, man.
Let me tell you my mistake with Brady is I was comparing him to other football players. I should have been comparing him to Satchel Paige and Bernard Hopkins and other great, Nolan Ryan, other great old players in other sports because he's he's smashed the age barrier in football.
Well, I think you got to start by saying, one, he's got a bunch of weapons. So whenever you got a bunch of weapons, you got a good defense. And he's healthy. I mean, Brady's last significant injury was his ACL when Castle took over. That was his last significant injury. He didn't miss any time other than whatever little light suspension he got or whatever from the NFL. Other than that, the dude's never missed time at the quarterback spot. So he's healthy, he's sound. On top of that, he's now paired with one of the major brain trust in all of the NFL in Byron Leftwich. This is not about Tom Brady. This is about Byron Leftwich. This is not about Bruce Arians. This is about Byron Leftwich. When you hear people on television or sports talk radio, they never mention Byron Leftwich. The first thing they try to say is, well, Tom Brady and Bruce Arians. No. His relationship with Byron Leftwich is second to none. It's ridiculous. Communication is important. Being able to dial up, design certain plays that look a certain way, even if it is some familiarity carryover from the New England Patriot days of Tom Brady, which it should be, Byron still has to call it a certain way. He has to call the game a certain way for Brady to be comfortable. I can't wait for him to become a new head coach in the National Football League and become this hot coaching candidate because he certainly deserves it. But because Tom Brady is his quarterback, you don't hear about Byron Leftwich nearly
Except
as
from
much.
Andy Reid.
As much as you did about the Josh McDaniels, the Bill O'Briens of the world when they had Tom Brady. We all know Tom Brady's great, but Byron Leftwich is the one getting it done.
So why does it feel like we have to force Byron Leftwich's name in those conversations? And I agree with you on everything you just said about Byron. But it does feel like every time there's some kind of open opportunity, it's a name that we're having to make concerted effort to make sure that people recognize
what could it be?
How talented he actually is. How come other people don't see that yet, Keith?
Well, it's not that they don't see it. They refuse to acknowledge it.
Because it's Tom.
Because it's Tom. But they don't seem to understand. Tom Brady is not saying, get me in a 3-by-1 set. Get me in a 2-by-2, which means 2 receivers on one side, 2 receivers on another, back in the back. That's not what Tom is saying. Byron Leftwich is standing there with his play call sheet, and he's going, you know what? This is what I'm going to call. And the reason I know that is not only do I know the situation, I'm watching television, I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Bruce Arians and I'm watching Byron Leftwich. That Bruce Arians is saying nothing with his headset up, and Byron Leftwich is the one communicating. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, he didn't want to call the damn plays, but yet still it's Bruce Arians' offense and Tom Brady. I'm like, well, no, man. No, because he has to make that decision to put that ball in that receiver's hands.
Tom Brady now has 602 passing touchdowns. When
Really?
he started his career in 2000, the career record was 420 passing touchdowns. Dan Marino. Stats Incredibles brought to you by My Computer, training for a better life. So when you bring up Byron Leftwich, the elephant in the room is that he's not getting credit, although offensive coordinators nowadays get all the credit and all the jobs, supposedly, right? And what other characteristic can we describe Byron Leftwich with that seems to not be represented at the highest level of the coaching ranks in proportion? Is he is African-American. Now, how much of that do you think factors into this?
I don't know that that's really what it is. I just think it's Tom Brady.
The Brady brand is so big.
And people don't want to give the coach who's coaching Tom Brady, who's really coaching him. He's sitting on the sideline talking to him on the bench.
So why do they want to give Bruce Arians
Bruce
the credit?
Arians is the head coach, and they automatically assume that it's Bruce Arians' system when it's actually Byron Leftwich
that makes
who's calling
sense.
the plays.
That makes sense, but Jay,
You know?
that makes sense. And it's unknowable how much race plays into these kind of things in American life, but you assume it plays some kind of role.
It ain't gonna fly with me though, because I ain't gonna let it happen. I mean, as soon as you start trying to prop some of these other offensive coordinators, no. That's the dude.
That's what I mean. It seems to me that the guy who gets out of proportion credit nowadays is the offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, whoever it is. That guy we home in on and we say, that offensive coordinator. But for whatever reason, including maybe circumstances, Tom Brady, lots of offensive weapons, maybe also race? Or are you saying, no, not in this case?
I don't like to use the race card. It may be there because the people that are calling games, the people like us that are on sports talk radio and television, it's our job to make sure that Byron Leftwich gets his due.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's our job because we would make sure Josh McDaniel gets his due, or Kyle Shanahan gets his due, or Bill O'Brien got his due.
And Bieniemy's been getting his due.
Bieniemy's getting his due because we put an emphasis on making sure. And Andy Reid has put an emphasis on making sure that Bieniemy has gotten his due. And Bruce Arians is also putting an emphasis on making sure Byron Leftwich gets his due, but that's not enough. We have to do it too, Jay.
And also, I mean, let's be real about it. It would really help if Tom Brady did it too. Right?
Well, I think
I don't know that he hasn't. I'm trying to think of.
I'm not saying that he has or has not, but like it hasn't been like